music?
I'm getting ready to do that right now.
You got a lot of company over there, Tiff.
Yeah, you see, right? I got friends.
You got a lot of buddies over there.
I ain't mad at you.
Right?
I thought I hit. I think we're on, but I can't find my music. So the Sistahship.
We're gonna have to.
We on the Sistahship. Yeah, we on the Sistahship. Roll with us. We on the Sistahship. Sistahship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about. We got it. Now come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this. Talk about
Hey!
Talk about that.
Get it, sir. Here we go.
Talk about that.
I don't want the lane switch.
There it
What's going on
is.
here? Hold on, that's lane switch. Wait a minute. We gotta get to the other song. Wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Hey!
That's the lane switch.
That's what we got. There we go. We did a little lane switch first. Yeah, we on the Sistahship. Come with us. We on the Sistahship. Yeah, we on the Sistahship. Roll with us. We on the Sistahship. Sistahship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about. We got it.
Now come on, let's talk about.
Let's talk about this. Talk about that. Talk about faith. Talk about facts. Let's talk about healing. Talk about it. Talk about
Let's talk about it.
we're my sisters, we got big sisters. You roll with me and I roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got big sisters. You roll with me and I roll with ya. Substance, we got her the flesh right now. Hey, I'm excited. Because we bring to the rain. Now it's time to shine like Bling. Life skills, the right wills, love hills.
So we become the prodigy of how a sistership could be a really hot commodity.
Then,
Together we united.
hey,
Support each other's dreams and our
Go
plans.
ahead. Look at substance. That's what I'm talking about.
Understand,
the power of a friendship
fam, this life.
on purpose.
Together we burn.
Hey,
Let's talk. We don't want to see you hurt, and we here for each other.
no matter the color, networking.
That's for sure and for certain.
Yeah, we on a Sistahship. Roll with us, we on a Sistahship. Yeah, we on a Sistahship. Come with us, we on a Sistahship. We're my sisters, we got big sisters. You roll with me and I roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got big sisters. You roll with me and I roll with ya. Sistahship, we got it. Come on, let's talk about. Hey!
Come on, let's talk about.
Let's talk about this, talk about that, talk about let's talk about living, talk about healing, talk about hey! We on the Sistahship. We on the Sistahship. Stefan, it's all yours.
All right, y'all. Hello. This is Stefania Johnson. I am your queen of Bling, y'all.
Right.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited about today's show. Today is about what is love. Now, everybody's got their own perspective on what love is. Love can be many different things depending on your situation, your status, etc. and so on, right? So we're going to talk about this today. But first and foremost, I want to introduce our guests on today's show. And I'm absolutely excited about, first of all, the song, The Sistahship. Let's talk about Substance and Tiny. Introduce yourself, Tiny.
Hello, I'm Substance.
I'm Tiny.
And yes, we had the pleasure of creating the Sistahship anthem for you guys, for all of us actually. So I'm glad y'all love it, y'all vibing with it, and we are extremely happy to be here, supporting our sisters, supporting our team. Like, love is dope.
Awesome.
We love y'all. Love y'all.
Love that.
Can't wait to get into what is love with y'all. So Tony, let's talk about you for a moment.
Okay.
Let's talk about you. So introduce yourself to everybody. Let everybody know your status.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Staten. I am an author and screenwriter and entrepreneur, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm newly single, and so I'm here to talk about the perspective of love, God's love, self-love, and how one loves on themselves. especially being in a newly single situation. So yeah, I'm vibing today. Got my red lips on, I'm ready.
We are ready. So with the theme of what is love, I have my husband with me today, Darren Johnson. And I'll let him kind of give you his perspective as well. But you know, it's Valentine's Day today. Now, of course, as we all know, today is one of those days of commercializing the love aspect, right? And how we view today as a holiday. So, you know, my husband has his perspective. I actually agree with him because we've been together 20 years, y'all.
All right.
Not
Love
married
that.
20 years. 20 years together. But, you know, again, we all have different perspectives and how we evolve and move in our relationships throughout life. But to your point, Tony, it really does start from the beginning, and that is with self-love. But with that said, again, I also want to introduce TiffanieRo. She's in the background getting us out there on YouTube and all the social media networks so we can make sure everybody has an opportunity to listen to us. And for those of you who are on YouTube, chat, go ahead, drop your comments, drop your questions. We're here to also talk with you. So please make sure you give us the feedback because we're looking forward to engaging our viewers as well. So please make sure you're out there and engaging with us because we love your perspective. It's not just about us, it's about everyone today. It's all about love for everyone. Yep. So with that said, and looks like we've got TiffanieRo.
Tyro coming in the building.
TiffanieRo just hit it right on the spot. TiffanieRo's coming in. Tiffany.
She was making money on while we were you know, you can't have no honey without no money.
That's right. That's right.
Some money.
Honey and money go hand in hand. Love it.
Yes. Oh my God, how are you? Tony. Hi. Oh my God, I love you guys. What is love? It is Valentine's Day.
Oh my God.
Love Day. Happy Love Day.
Happy Love Day, all day, every day. It's always a love fest. And I was like, I had so much on my mind. I've been married for a couple of decades now. And I was sharing with a friend this morning. She said, she calls us up. She's our old friend. And she's calling us up. And she's like, Happy Valentine's Day. I don't want to take away from your love fest and this and that. And then she said, you know, was just asking me, what are my feelings? And I said, Sean will be here too. He's running around. And I said to her, I said, you know, what this is to me is so different than 7 years ago when we met. Mm. It's so different. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, it was like, you know, first it was, oh, he's cute, you know, and all that. And let me tell you, I still say he's cute.
Good.
But Sean, I was sharing, Sean he was my friend first. We met as friends. Then we became boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, and the first year don't count because that's the representative that showed up. But once he stopped putting on the Vaseline on the lips and not wearing the, you know, the cologne all the time and all that. And I had said, because she asked me, what is love? And I said, we're going to do a podcast later. You got to get on and you'll listen what is love from so many people. And then I said, then we got married. We bought a house first. We got married. We had children. And I said, what it came to be for me is Sean, yes, is my lover, but he is my friend. He is my brother. He is my dad sometimes. He's my uncle sometimes. He's the homeboy that I talk to sometimes. So what has happened has evolved way beyond. And I'm so thankful his eyes are not as good as they used to because, you know, things fall. I don't have to pretend, you know, there's sometimes you just don't feel like doing certain things all the time. You know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the lips are a little chapped and he's good. He's good. And that's the piece of what I would say. I didn't even look for that when I was that little girl thinking about who my life partner was going to be or what it looked like. That's another thing about ripping away what all the people in social and your family, everybody told you what it was supposed to look like. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to, here comes the king. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about what is love, because I'm a girl from South Jamaica, Queens, 5,000 homes, and out of 5,000 homes, only one of those homes had a husband and a wife, and all the kids belonged to the same mother and father. That's so if I had to tell you what love looked like or relationships look like, yeah, come sit next to me. If I had to talk about what it looked like, it did not look like what has happened in my life. So, and many people have experienced and are experiencing that. And there's a lot of people out there that are, what love looks like is being single and loving up on yourself. So I wanted to share, we have such beautiful people today. I mean, first of all, everybody came, right? Everybody looking luscious, okay? So I want to just do a round robin first because the king is here. Sean B. Hey,
Sean B.
TCF is in the house. Partner in everything. He's my partner in everything. He's my partner with these babies. He's my partner in my business. He's my partner in my heart. And at the same time, we have our own things that we do that belong to just us.
Absolutely.
I want to share that as well. So let's go around the table because I've been talking and I was late. You know, the late people always gotta walk into the room like something's happening. Miss Tony!
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? I love it. I'm being good. Since we're live, I'll do coffee.
No, I'm not being good, okay? This is my cheat weekend, so I got me some coquito going, okay? It's my cheat weekend. I got the coquito.
Oh, see, now I like that. I can do that, Tiffany. I can do the coquito now. Well, I'm gonna be good though.
Okay. All right.
She's like, okay, I'm gonna be drinking my.
What you drinking up there?
I got Prosecco because let me tell you about Prosecco. Prosecco gets to the punch, but it has the least caloric intake.
Oh, now.
Okay. What you got up there, Tiny? What you got, Tiny?
The way it tastes, it's really a nice light grape. I like it.
Mm-hmm. As she pouring it.
I don't know
love that. Love that, and love the glasses. Love the glasses.
Yeah.
Thank you for the nice champagne flute. Love it.
Cheers to all the lovers. Cheers to all.
Cheers. Water, so we good.
Valentine's Day to everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, Mama C just walked in the door, look like she got a cake in her hand or something. So okay.
That's about loving yourself. Tony, what brings you into what is love?
Yeah, what is love? Love for me right now is really about connecting with God, connecting with my God force inside of me, and really loving on myself. I'm like I was telling the audience, I'm newly single. I'm currently going through a divorce. I still believe in love. I was married for almost 22 years and it was time to move on. But I still believe in love. And so I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of introspection, and love is really self-care for me right now. And what I mean by that is taking care of myself from the top of my head to the sole of my feet and everywhere in between. Nice. As you see in the background, I have beautiful flowers. I buy myself fresh flowers every single week. And when it's time to change, I change every single week, because I'm bringing to me what I can bring to someone else and what I want someone else to bring to me. So I'm all about that self-love and self-care. That means exercise. I just had Holy Fit today, which is a holy stretching class taught by the wonderful Coach LT here in Los Angeles. I am an entrepreneur. Like I said, I have an essential oil line, and this is all about, sorry about that, this is all about self-care. It's about, I spritz myself every single day to uplift and refresh. So I bring things around me that are really positive and really make me feel good. I make myself feel good. I have massage therapy twice a month. I am really about the self-care. I have mental therapy twice a month. I'm in therapy. Therapy is a lifestyle.
Can you share a bit about that? That's a new concept. Can you share a second about that? Because that's powerful stuff right there.
About which one? The mental therapy.
Yes.
Absolutely. I have a wonderful therapist that has been helping me to really walk through life. You know, it is said, and this is no longer true. It's said that mental therapy and a mental therapist is taboo, or psychology is taboo, especially in our community. But we're changing that mindset. It is great to have somebody to help just walk you through, help guide you to your truest inner self. Because right now it's about learning me and rediscovering me and being able to share that not only with someone special, but with the world, being my best me. So I am believing in bringing my best self to the table, whichever table that may be, and doing it with the best way possible. And that includes physical therapy, mental therapy, and real good self-love. I take care of me. I have my champagne, I do my wine, I take care, I go to the movies by myself. Well, not in a pandemic, but I take care. If I want to go to a restaurant and try a new restaurant, guess what I'm doing? And guess who's going by herself? And I have a wonderful cadre of friends. My sisterhood is so severe and so strong. So let's not get it twisted. I have love around me, but it is exceptionally important to involve myself in self-care. And yes,
I definitely got some questions, but we gotta move it around. But I'm gonna come back because you done gave me some. Maybe it's part Prosecco, maybe it's part 50 in hot flashes, but I got a warm feeling inside when it just felt really good. So I write down notes, I got questions. But Miss Bling up top, Mr. Fire!
Hey y'all.
How are you today? And my God, you got sexual chocolate next to you too. I love it. Don't you agree? I love it. So share, and again, one of our sisterships, one of our hosts, a magnificent being, Bling all day long. We got 2 Blings and 2 Tiffs, but Bling all day long. Share with us, what is love? What does it mean?
Oh man, there is so much. You know what? I related to what you were saying when you said about the years that you've been with, your husband, and we've been together 20 years, married. It'll be 9 years this year. 9 years this year. I had to think about that. We've been together so long. I mean, for me, it's 20 years, it's 20 years, But I think we've evolved through the years. And for us, or at least for me, I'm going to speak for myself because, he'll speak for himself. For me, it is about the friendship, the connection, the being able to be all levels of different relationships throughout your relationship. Holding each other accountable, supporting each other when we need it. Laughing because he's a comedian. I can't even tell you, I laugh all the time with him because he's always got something funny that comes out of his mouth. The being able to share experiences and our families are important to us. So we have love all around us and amongst ourselves because, again, we've evolved from that space of, the initial phase of, I'm gonna take her out and, show her a good time. And,
when did he stop wearing the jupe?
Stop wearing the what?
The juke. Y'all, if you back in the days, you know the juke smell. You know the cologne.
We've been together so long at the time, curve was what people was wearing. Because, you know, it go in waves. Back in the day, it was the curve, and it was Fahrenheit.
Don't make me break out the clothes.
Then it was juke. So that was all.
Did he say Fahrenheit? Did he say Fahrenheit?
You said Fahrenheit.
You see what I'm saying?
I done been through them all.
How could you not love this man right here? You know, I mean, and that's exactly it. I mean, when I met him, it was all fun and, you know, but hanging out with people at work and he'd come in with just some slingers, you know, I mean, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, what is going on? And then we go out with friends and, you know, it developed into this relationship, and our relationship actually was long distance for a long period of time. But again, it helped us to build that friendship, that being able to talk to one another and be more than just, you know, the lovers. Although, you know, obviously when we saw each other, you're there for the
loving. So, the loving was good.
But, you know, for me, again, it's all about that connection and being able to relate to one another. And you know, it's obviously developed, and I still love him. I can say that. I like him, and there's sometimes I don't like him, just like I'm sure vice versa, but that's okay, because it's beyond the like factor. There's something more to it, and that, you know, that people sometimes miss out on. But, you know, again, that's just my perspective. I'll let him talk for himself.
Okay, cool. I'll put it to you this way, because I know sometimes the first question we'll get asked as a couple is, well, you've been together 20 years, but you've only been married 9 or whatever. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you from my perspective. For me, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I seen and done it all. Now, here's the bottom line.
Brick City.
What love is being able to take years of experience, the good and the bad, and then rolling it up to where you need to be. Now, see, where most of us, when I say us, just humans, we make mistakes is because we don't learn from the previous mistakes. So for me, in business, I've been blessed with being stable. I've been in the corporate game for 30 years, right? So what I tried to do was learn from those experience into my life experience. So, you know, part of those 20 years, I was living in New York, I was living in Chicago, I was living in Rochester, New York, going back and forth at that particular point in time. So I was trying to build a career, because I'm of the belief I can't contribute anybody to a loved one until I have my foundation.
Okay.
I also wasn't stable mentally when I say that, because I had different things that I put before a relationship, like making money or partying or hanging out, you know, those type of things. So in the hierarchy of being a good partner, I had to get through that. And I knew that because I'd made those mistakes in the past. So for me, you know, it was making sure that this was what I wanted to do. And I always had a master plan. And I think that most productive people have a master plan. How you merge that master plan with your mate is paramount to how successful you'll be. I still have a master plan. I have an exit and a glide path that I've tried to create for myself. I let my wife in on it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that's just a part of me. That comes from being single for years. We got married relatively late in our lives. But if I don't have a plan A, B, or C, you know, then I'm doing myself and her a disservice. Now, to answer the question specifically about love, I said this earlier because I'd been thinking it through. My old man and my mom were together for over 60 years. And, you know, I didn't have to go to a marriage counselor because I saw everything I needed to see through. And on top of the things he told me, he said things as a young kid I didn't understand, but he would just give me the filler going, when you get yours, you'll figure it out. And what he would say is, Valentine's is every day if you with the one you love. So what he wasn't discounting the day, he was just trying to share that the ups and the downs and the love that you have manifests itself in every day. He would say, I can get your mother some flowers today. That don't make it Valentine's Day. So make every day a day where you respect each other. Right. Now, how I view love on this day is it's more than just me and her. You know, what I need to do, or we self-reflect on what's going well, but more importantly, what we could do better.
Mm-hmm.
When I reflect on what is love on a day that's commercialized, what am I doing that makes my community more cohesive? What am I learning, you know, from the ancestors that are going to help me navigate through this wilderness and make me be more effective and more kind, more gentle, more understanding? You know, that's how I view love. So, you know, there was once a point in time, I think we're all surrounded by love and we get exposed to a lot of dysfunction. So for me, in this path in love, it's kind of minimizing the disruptive aspects of love, because the other side of love is hate. And I try to eliminate that in how I operate. You know what I'm saying? There's some people in the daily grind, let's just say in the workplace, that don't operate the same way that we necessarily do, because there's just integrity issues. We ain't all the same.
Amen.
But I try to use love to combat that by just saying, you know what? If we can't make it deeper than a friendship, let's just operate transactionally and respect each other. But more
sexual or just sexual.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
right.
But you know, but that's what love to me means. So I'm glad to be here, because I think that that's what the sistership was predicated.
And that's right. And
in
that's
building
right.
that network. So that's my opinion on what love is.
And I love you sharing about bringing the community. You know, that piece is an essence that is so overlooked. And I want to share. I just got to chill because it came to me quicker than it came out of my mouth. I was so blessed. And I tell you, it was a blessed day. It was supposed to rain, supposed to do a whole lot of crap that day. And that day, it didn't happen. Sister Substance brought the community, brought networking.
You said me?
Sister Substance brought community.
That's you. That's
networking,
you.
Bought art, bought love, and put together an amazing video for her concept, her music, bought her beautiful partner. There was, you didn't know when one began and when one ended. I saw people that would not have had an opportunity to network, and she didn't ask for $5. And that's deep. So when you talk about community and what is love and that piece, I want to introduce, if no one else knows, I know. And I'm going to say it, I'm loud, I got a big ass mouth. I love this woman right here. And I swear, I haven't had a lot of interaction, but when I listen, I swear to God, I don't hear one without the other. It's always about we. I don't even know if substance don't have an I in it. No, it's all about the we. So I'm not going to say much more. I'm just going to let love live. Come on, my lovers, let's talk. Sister Tiny.
Oh my God. First, I just gotta say one thing. Love is the sistership. Love is the sistership. And why I say that is because this is a personal belief of ours. Love, first and foremost, is an action word. It's a word that is in motion and lives through action.
It lives and breathes.
Love is what it does. You know? So it's like, in order, like Tony, it's like we live a parallel life. I said, let me find out. We live a parallel life. In order to put that word or that action into motion and truly live it, first and foremost, you have to work on you.
Yes.
There's no way to show it. Love is an action word that comes in different languages. So love is going to have a familiarity in what it does, the way it speaks. And that transcends beyond what society thinks. That's first. And then when it comes to relationships, what is love? Love can be what that is for relationships. When it comes to service in the community, when it comes to your relationship with your family, your kids, your mother. So love, it speaks different languages, but it always has to look the same. So what happened for me personally, I can say it was when it was time for me to like sincerely work on myself. It's like, I know that I'm full of love, full of care. So what would make me, hurt someone's feelings? And they say hurt people, but I really love. So what would make me hurt someone that I love, or abuse an opportunity that was given to me when I'm truly humble for it? What would make me take advantage of situations or people or anything like that? And that's because the inner workings of me needed to be done so that I can love effectively. And that's with anyone. You cannot possibly love effectively if you don't deal with yourself first.
Yeah.
And what some people fail to realize is that does not happen overnight. It takes a tremendous amount of work and diligence and consistency. You may drop the ball when it comes to loving yourself physically. You start working out, and next you drop the ball, but you have to get back to it if you're trying to get to a goal or reach or accomplish what it is that you're going after. So for me, what happened was I started to abuse alcohol like crazy, like really, really bad. And I put myself in intensive therapy. It was Tiny that put the mirror on me. She loved me through that massacre and that disaster of being an alcoholic, and showed me. No one has ever showed me. They made excuses. Well, you still pay your bills on time. You the ish, but wouldn't acknowledge like I have a problem. You know what I mean? I'm ruining relationships in every social gathering because I lashed out. Don't chuck that up to Nah, she was just drunk. No, I got a problem. What is it I'm crutching on? So I had to get to me, and then come to find out a lot of that crutch and all of those things stem back from my 0 to 7. So if you don't, a lot of our 0 to 7 is what manifests in our adulthood, our way of life, our way of thinking. And if that was filled with trauma, it's going to show up in adulthood, and it's going to have an effect on every type of relationship that you have. So you have to come to a point where you deal with the foundation of who you are. And it comes to where you have to break you down. And that part is the hard part, because when I started going to therapy and started to get to that 4-year-old me, that's some painful stuff that, I could easily have said, you know what, therapist, you all good. I don't want to, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to open that door no more and continue to live in the hurt. But no, when you work through that, then a light in you can begin to shine, and the door can open up to where you can flood out the love that's in you effectively. So yes, like you, I've been in therapy since the end of 2018. So I was going more frequently. Now I go once a month. I started getting into yoga to physically, strengthen myself mentally, spiritually, and physically. Tiny, same boat. And we do this together. We take these journeys together. Beautiful. Beautiful. Tiny, listen, if I could tell you everything that this woman is to me and what she has done for me. I'm a hustler, I'm a grinder, and I go hard, but the emotional and spiritual part of me is a reflection of her loving me through my mess and showing me areas of myself that needed the most work. And that's probably why we've been together as long as we have. We've been together for 8 years. We got engaged last year. So we've been engaged for a year now.
Congrats.
We'll be getting married sooner than later, right, Tiny? So if we were to talk about what is love, you can ask me, what is love for us? What is love for me and my kids being a teacher? What is love for my music, my sisters that support me through? Oh my God, y'all so dope. Like all of y'all, like all of y'all, every one of y'all in different aspects of y'all have like, y'all don't know. Y'all come in the weirdest times with a text message, a phone call, hit me up on my website in the weirdest times when I need that fire to this, because the engine is going dry. And y'all come in at the perfect timing, refueling me, getting me back going. You know what I mean? Y'all dope. That's love.
That's the love you give, though. You got to understand that's the love you give that's coming reciprocated.
Yeah. That's one of the time where you feel like you just can't keep going, and then somebody push a button and you're like, I could do it a little bit more. I could do a little bit more. And we all need that, because it'd be times where I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to throw this. I know. And Tiffany, like, she'll hit a button and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go. Yeah.
Why is it my fault? Like I said, you know, like I think I mentioned to you, Tiff, with Muhammad Ali, he don't start counting them sit-ups until it start hurting. Don't ask me how many sit-ups I can do. I don't start counting till it hurts.
I love
and that's in everything. You know, again, we was taught, you shared substance in. And Sean just asked today, the acronym PTSD has been popping up a lot. And he was like, what the heck does that mean? Because I say it a lot. And it is real. It's like,
trauma is real.
Yes, we all have gone through moments in our journey that maybe we've suppressed, maybe no one knows about, maybe we don't even remember until it is brought to light. But it does help to dictate our movements. And what's so powerful about what Substance shared is Substance is also a teacher. And now she's able to help the youth, because like you said, when you're the youngest of yourself, that formulates so much of what everything is. That's that root, that's that seed, that's that root ball, that's those things that's in the ground. And then all the world sees is what comes out of the ground. So they don't see all of this stuff here. They see this, this. They see this. Then they see the they see that. And it can be good or bad, or here's some good fruit, here's a rotten fruit, all of those things. But they don't know what happens here. And part of what is love is probably loving up what Tiny has done, and with, you know, our significant others or friendships or even ourselves, is loving up on that root ball.
Right.
And getting in that place and digging through all the dirt and all the veins of the roots and figuring out, okay, how can we heal? How can we come out? And so when you first started sharing, Tony, he was talking about self, and you were talking about going through, you know, you're ending an old relationship and bringing it
complete.
As far as paper, okay, you're ending what that was and going into what is now to be. You share, one of the things I love was, you said every week you get yourself flowers.
Absolutely.
When I had a salon, it was called the Sanctuary. And every week we would put in flowers. For everyone that came in, we had a fresh, big, huge bouquet. Every Friday, we changed the flowers out for that reason, because everyone that walked through that door, we were giving energy, not just in the talent of our hands, not in just we didn't even have TVs playing. We had amazing music going. We had amazing food happening. We had amazing drinks happening. And we had amazing hair happening. It was an experience.
Yeah.
And giving yourself the beauty of flowers. Tell us a little bit about what that's about for you.
Yeah, that started out for me. Of course, you know, I love for people to give me flowers as well. And I give flowers. What I learned, botanicals change the energy. They uplift the energy. And it's funny because my dad, God rest his soul, couldn't stand cut flowers. Oh, he would crack me up all the time. He would say, you paying for dead flowers. They're just gonna die. They already dead. You cut them, they're just gonna die. And I'm like, yeah, no, Daddy, flowers change the energy. And I know one of my favorite flowers, pink is my favorite color, but red roses are my favorite flower. And they uplift, they fill the air with fragrance, which, you know, all of your senses take that in, and it's the vibe and it's the vibration that you create, that I always create with fresh flowers, the fresh water, you know, all of the essentials, the essential oils. I have diffusers all over this house, and I use an abundance of essential oils. Again, the aroma, the vibe, the clarity that it brings to my mind when I want to meditate. So they're just an integral part of my life. And people have said things to me about flowers. Oh, well, you got to work up to those red roses before I give you red roses. Baby,
don't worry about me. First of all, the flower that you can't even impress me with a rose. That's too common.
Honey, you can't, I don't work up to what I can do for myself.
Amen. I already been there, done that. Been to the mountaintop on that.
We don't
got some birds of paradise.
Yeah, we don't rest on that. So and yeah, so flowers change the energy. They uplift the energy. They help change the vibration. Just like herbs, sage, you know, Palo Alto, anything that you use. Hot flowers help to lift the vibration. And I'm guarantee you, I'm gonna lift my own vibration. It is just a part of my therapy. Therapy is a lifestyle. When I tell you it's a part of my therapy. And Substance and Tiny, I just have to say, God bless you. I love that you are openly talking about therapy because we need no more taboo.
Yeah.
Right. You want to know something?
To get guidance. You know, I had a friend once tell me, I don't need a therapist. Jesus is my therapist. And I'm like, but Jesus created therapy. Jesus created butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers, right? So therapy, it's greater than well. It's not just okay. So flowers are part of my therapy.
Facts.
And Jesus, you know, I don't want to beat nobody up in religion. But Jesus, you know,
yeah.
And I'm saying that to say that
I mean,
God created everything. Yeah, no, I get you. God created us all.
Your spiritual deity, whomever you pray to, your spiritual deity. Listen, I'm just trying to take the stigma out of therapy.
I love it.
So often, you know, say, I don't need a therapist. I have this, or you don't always need a therapist, but if you do, it really is greater than well that you pursue that avenue as well.
All right, so let me break it up just a little bit because the room was kind of quiet. We need to hear from Stefania and we need to hear from Substance a little bit.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
What I want to say is that I'm looking and I'm reading in the chat room, and Jane and Mama C and Lady K, everybody is in the chat room on YouTube. Again, we switched the method of how we chat with our listeners to YouTube so that we can see everybody that's putting comments in the room. So Jane had a comment in which she said, when did each of you know this was the one? So if everybody could answer that question, when did you know this was the one? That would be great too. We also have June in the room who is live streaming everything through TikTok, and people are asking questions. So you'll hear me come in periodically just to tell you some of the questions that are being said in the chat room. I'm just kind of quiet because I'm more so the technical person right now, so I'm kind of like moving stuff around and reading notes, but I'll pop in every now and then just to tell you.
If you have somebody that's waiting to zoom in if possible, by the way.
I see him now. I'm going to admit him into the room. Can go?
Yes, it is. So I have my brother that's going to pop in real quick. This is Kango Kid from UTFO, Roxanne.
Hey, I want to be your man.
I want to be your man. Yeah, not even just that. Kango
Kid. Hey, that was my song. I ain't even gonna lie. That was my song.
I think that was everybody's song.
That's good.
And if anybody knows, you know, he is the fairy tale lover.
Kane looking like he's 16 years old.
He looking like the
Whatever.
same
Or Phil Donahue show. Or Phil Donahue.
My secret is push-ups and hair dye. That's simple.
But wait, what kind of hair dye? Can I ask you what kind of hair dye you use? Because see, we had Terry Pickering. He tried to dye his hair, right? And he caught allergic reaction to what he did. So he was out for like 2 weeks.
20 years.
Yeah, I've been doing hair dye for decades. Revlon 10.
Revlon 10. Oh, that worked for you. Okay.
You know what's funny? So as you talk about that whole allergic reaction thing, I turned a friend of mine on because he was wondering how do I stay, my hair black and stuff. And so I turned him on, and unfortunately he got a allergic reaction.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
Bad as hell. I don't never turn anybody on again. I'm like,
no. It doesn't work for everybody.
Don't get your own bait. Like they said with the record, the commercial that late night, you're gonna have to get your own.
Yeah.
So go get your own.
I am not gonna be held responsible again.
I wanted to bring Tang on today And I definitely want to go around. How did we meet and things like that? And how did you know this was the one? Kang is actually, if you he's definitely, back when we were growing up, when foundation of hip hop, that guy that was on the walls from the Right On magazine, and I love you, I love you, I love you. He's my best, and so that being said, and everything and all of the pioneering he has done in hip hop, he is in the process of getting ready, and I'll let you share your reality television show. So can you share with our viewers and our listeners what's happening in the world of Kanga?
Okay. I have put together a project that will allow me to thank those that have been supporting me for decades. You always hear various celebrities say, the fans made me. And it's true, but I'm not aware of exactly what celebrities has done what for their fans. I mean, I know in their heart they'd love to, but I'm not aware of exactly what has been done. And so I plan on doing something that actually will, say thank you physically, not just verbally, to my fans. For those that know UTFO's history, we had a song on our first album called Fairy Tale Lover. Fairy Tale Lover made us the first rap group to do an R&B ballad. This ballad charted on Billboard. We performed it on Soul Train. It changed the whole scope of hip hop, because while we were on tour with New Edition, breakdancing, rapping, DJing, then we break out into this R&B song, a ballad, and we just even pissed New Edition off at the fact that we were singing now, So fitting, the name of the new show is Fairy Tale Lover. When I wrote the song at 16 years old, it was about comparing love to a fairy tale, Jack and Jill, cow jump over the moon, that whole thing. Today I've changed the definition, and Fairy Tale Lover is someone that you watched on television that you've grown to admire, develop a crush on. All of us right here have fairy tale lovers. And it could be the weather girl. It don't matter. Carry yours, I hear you. You know what I mean? So, and so what we're doing is the show is not going to be in a family of Flavor of Love, The Bachelorette, that whole thing, but it's not a love connection show. If love happens, if that chemistry surfaces.
Because you are single, right?
I happen to be him currently, yes. So if that happens in the show, then cameras will keep rolling. The purpose is to get all of the fans who deemed one individual their fairy tale lover, and to have them compete to have that moment with them. Now, what makes them qualify is that chick that says, I always wanted him to be my baby daddy, or I said he's gonna be my baby daddy, or had the pictures plastered all over their bedroom wall, or whatever it is that kept them connected, first front row at every show. We want to have those a collective of those people together competing for a moment with their fairy tale lover. What would that moment be? For us, it's called work. For the fans, it's called enjoyment. That day where you are on the red carpet, paparazzi's taking pictures, you're wearing that outfit that was sponsored by that famous designer or that that popular brand, rubbing elbows with celebrities, that whole thing. And so the winner of this competition gets to live a day in a life with their fairy tale lover, doing exactly what it is that they dreamt of doing.
We love it. We definitely love it. All right. I want to hang out with us for a minute, because I want to talk about some of the not so fairy tale that became reality lovers. I say I have my Prosecco, so my tongue is doing something.
Oh, good, we excuse you.
But I want to share with Stefania and her king, what made you know that this was the one?
Ooh, what made me know? So I'm gonna just take a step back, because when we first met, it was about a month before you left for Chicago, right? When we first started kind of dating, it was a month before he was leaving for Chicago, and I had just started in a brand new company. Same company, we worked for the same company, and I wasn't looking for anything. Wasn't looking for love. I had gotten out months prior, a relationship, long-term relationship. It was just not in my purview. We started kind of hanging out with friends at work, and I'll just say he had them invite me out with the friends. Just saying. We have different stories about how that happened, but when we started dating and things, and we kind of got together, I will tell you our first kind of experience, we were out all night. I think we went to the shelter that night. We hung out all night because, house heads hung out all night, and, went to breakfast. We were just, vibing. And the next day we were in the office, and I was with my girlfriend and telling her, how great a weekend we had. And we had a great time. And he's coming through the doors, coming out into the hall, and I'm going to the elevators. And for a quick second, and I kid you not, people think this is a joke, my heart skipped a beat. My heart skipped a beat. And I said to my girlfriend, I said, oh my God, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think we need to call for somebody. And, when people say heart skips a beat, I think it's a big joke. Like people say it's a big joke about, you fall. And at that moment, I said to myself, there's something about this man that it was just so good of just an experience that I was just like, you know what? I mean,
Sorry, wait a minute. You're missing the other show. There's 2 shows happening. Is you telling the story, and is him experiencing you telling the story?
I know, because he's like,
happening at the same time.
He knows exactly, because I tell the story all the time. I'm like, and for me, it was like at that moment, I think I knew there was something special with just us, the way we vibed. And like I said, we connected, friendship wise, and then, he moved, and we just continued on the relationship at that point. We just knew that, there was something there. We just didn't know where it was going to evolve to, because long distance relationship, you don't know how long he's going to be out there. Do you want to just do your own thing? And at that moment, I have to say I knew there was something special. I just didn't know where it was going to go. And I had to just let fate, just kind of take its course. And I had to allow just the relationship to develop. And I think we knew, at least I did at that moment, that, there was something special there. And I was out, I used to train Taekwondo many, many years ago. And I was in a tournament in Toronto. And
she just softly slid that I'll whip your ass any minute, any time.
Dad used to tell him that, don't mess with the body.
So I'm telling you my love story. Come play with me at all. It's a problem. Okay.
Exactly. So we had been talking for a couple of months at that point. He was out already in Chicago, and we had been vibing. And something came over me that night. We had finished our tournament, and I said, I need to call Darren. I need to call him. And I want to tell him, but I don't want to tell him, because it was that fear of just putting yourself out there and letting the person know exactly how you felt, and how was that going to be reciprocated. And I called him and I said, look, I just have to get it out there. I'm just going to put it all out there. I'm in love with you, period. End of story. However you feel, I'm just letting you know that that's how I feel. I couldn't stop it. It just had to be said.
Did you know he was single then?
What's that?
Did you know he was single?
Well, yeah, he was dating. Ray had been single at that moment.
A gentleman never tells. Well, let me keep it real. And I'm just joking, but let me keep it real. And it's not gonna take me too long to tell you what basically how I knew. Okay, I lived in Chicago. How it worked, she would come out to Chicago every other month, and I would come back to Jersey every other month. So every month there was an adventure. I take her to the Chicago Pier. I was DJing at a club over in Printers Row. We'd go wherever. I always had something planned when she came to Chicago, and we were always doing something with either my friends or her friends in New Jersey. So when I moved back to New York, I was living outside of New York City, right? And she was living in Pennsylvania. and this is what made me as a man figure it all out. I'd never gotten gout before. So long story short, I was sitting in my condo with a bottle of OxyContin, eating because I couldn't walk. I called her when she lived in Allentown. I said, listen, I need you to come take me to the hospital. I can't walk. And she came. Now, I'm saying that to say, as a man, I looked at this. I was probably maybe 35 or 36. I don't know. But it made me think about it. I said, dude, she cares about you and you care about her.
Right.
You know, it was a mortality thing. It was like, I need to build. And honestly, I can't be by myself. I couldn't even get to the
black
door.
dye in my hair. I need somebody.
I said, you know, at some point, I can't be no 70-year-old dude still going to the club trying to pick up when I have someone that cares about me. That was the test. I said, when you can. Because she's like, well, get in the ambulance. I was like, it costs too much. Why don't you just drive here and come take me to the hospital? And she did. Look. And that's when I knew. And I told her, I said, honey, if you stick with me on our wedding day, I did say this, the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
And I make sure that we go wherever. She said, where you want to go? You want to go to Europe? You want to go to Asia? You want to go to Africa? You want to go anywhere? Because I knew then when she came from another state and drove on every goddamn bump to get me to the hospital. Wow. She was the one. That's my truth. That's how I'm living.
Look like Sean had something to say down there. All right,
Sean.
Darren,
to the camera like.
Darren, did the Taekwondo have any effect on your decision?
No, because because truth be told, I won the Junior Olympics at 12 years old. I know. Okay. So if it happens to be like that, 911 have to separate us both. So we agree to disagree. I don't think we've ever had. I think one time she did this 9-1, but in the advent of OJ,
defend yourself.
So, we don't have no problems like that. I don't. Half is a lot.
Oh my God. So Tiny and Substance. When did you know? When did it be like, oh, this is forever? When did that happen for you? When did the explosion happen?
We had a lot of moments of this is forever, but for me, initially, when we first met, because we used to work together, and we were friends. Like I was training her because she was new to my job, and then I was training her. So we got close, but it wasn't like, okay, I know that she goes this
I'm gay?
Right.
Come on with it. Just come on with it.
Okay, right.
No,
right. So I'm like, okay, but it wasn't nothing there for me. Mm-hmm. And then over a time period, we would have lunch together, we would hang out, you know, she would try to kick her shot or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like it was a compliment to me, but I wasn't, you know, receptive to it. I wasn't showing like, okay, I'm interested. Still playing, oh, I'm not interested, whatever. And then she stopped doing that. Like it was just totally, okay, you don't want to take it? I'm gonna stop doing it.
Like, you ain't like that, huh?
I'm gonna put myself out there. Yeah, I cried. I was like, so you don't want me to come to lunch with you? Like, what's going on? What's happening? No, I don't want. And then she was straight faced, like, no, I don't want you to come. And it was that just took me, and that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, I ain't never done this before. Okay, it's something going on. And then I guess that was her game plan or whatever, but it worked. So that's when she was like, okay, yeah, she feeling me. I did that. It worked, whatever. So we started dating, and then not long after that, we got together, and I knew she was the one because she was so spontaneous. She was just so out there with just like, what are we going to do today? It was just so much adventure that it was just like, I love this. And I love this about her. And I just, her character, just being around her, it was just so much fun. So that's when I knew that, yeah, she was one. And it's still like that till this day. Like that was 8 years ago. And till this day, it's still the same. I can still count on her to be like spontaneous out there. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, babe. We're gonna take a risk with this one. And then, like, I just love that about her. So.
I love it.
I'm laughing. Substance was working that magic. She said,
Right.
"Oh, okay, all right." You all right?
But first of all, I feel like she took a page out of Kango's book. I've known this is my brother. You know, I've known it. So this is a page out of Kango's book. Yeah, really? All right, I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with you. Hey, boy, is he good?
Yo, I'm telling you, it happened, man. My man, my best friend. I'm like, yo, son, this girl, I'm not gonna keep chasing it. He's like, yo, all right, you ready? Go to work tomorrow. Don't say a word. Don't say nothing. So he told me, I was like, word, because I wasn't used to rejection. Just put it that way. It wasn't normal, so I never had to come up with all these ulterior head game plans. It was if I pursued, I'm usually crafty enough to figure it out and get it. It wasn't happening. So I'm like, man, yo, this is not happening for me. He's like, yo, don't say nothing to her. Go to work, don't say nothing. And it was over from there. I knew she was the one because she allowed herself to be pursued. That was first and foremost. I had to work for it. And then once I got it, I couldn't smash right away. I had to work and wait for that. And then everything was a work and wait. And so
you had that 90-day rule. Was that 90-day rule she gave you?
Listen,
she hit you with what's the name of that book?
Things like a man.
Yeah. Everything was, and you know, you value those things. And then ultimately was we did a trip down to North Carolina. We came down here for a show, and I went back home like, we're moving. And she's like, we're doing what? I'm like, we're moving right now. And I took my whole apartment and put it outside and yard sale there. And she's looking like, what? We're moving. The South is where it's at. There's something down there. And she cried and kicked to the very U-Haul truck, everything outside. We about to go. And she cried and cried. I'm like, no, I'm pulling off. You coming or you not?
Oh my God.
I remember that day because that was right before we had a barbecue over here at the house. And y'all came over, your mom came over. We had this big old barbecue. And that day, I think I was leaving the next day. And I'm like, damn, they really leaving.
Out, like,
it was gone.
And she took that. She had never left the state, never left. Nah,
I love it.
Boy, to where we moving to? Into somebody's room. What? We don't even have a job. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, that's the life of an artist, number one. Kang, I know you got like because you just did like Fox and all this because the show is today the last day of the film. Tell me what's happening.
No. Today is the day that we open the floodgates. Today is the day that we're letting all the women submit their videos and let us know why they should be chosen to have that moment with their fairy tale love.
I love it.
Oh, shoot.
I love it. So, do me, if you really quickly, if you can make sure we have it, we'll put it in the chat room, how people can upload their videos for Fairy Tale Lover. And then we're going to be putting that together. We'll be filming that in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm
in a minute.
Proud of you. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
For being with us today. But before you leave, what does love mean to you?
Completion.
Love that word.
Yeah. You shouldn't want anything else after you got that.
Right. Ashe, my brother. I love you.
Love you.
We'll be talking later.
Thank you.
Take care, man. All right.
But Tiffany, you didn't answer for us.
You know what?
I know, right?
Okay, so I was gonna share. Okay, so how did I know he was the one? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Let Sean go. We want to hear from Sean.
Yeah, let Sean go first.
Honestly, I can say my oversoul knew before I did. I didn't know. But I was in a relationship when I saw her. To be honest.
Tiff had to take a drink on that one.
I know, right?
But when I did see her, my oversoul knew that she was the one. When I got to know her from pursuing her, I pursued her for 2 years. 2 years, I pursued her. But I wanted to pursue her on a mutual ground, not me pursuing her in a way where she actually knew my intent. So in other words, I wanted to become friends first. And that's what I did. I waited to the right moment, and I conjured up a plan to make that happen.
See, brothers know what that means. You have a plan. I had a plan. We all had a plan. And you came to friend zone, make the move before you slide in that friend zone. This is some real.
Before there were DMs.
Exactly.
So you conjured up a plan. What kind of plan did you conjure up? Tell me.
We was again, we met in church.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin was the pastor, and she used to do the pastor's hair, but I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't really know that. But however, our mutual friends was family to me already. She had a mutual friend, Sandella, who was just like family to me. But she brought it in the church, and I was actually with my father. We had a painting business, a contracting business. Mm-hmm. So I was in the church working, and she came in, and I was like, who is that? I was on the ladder. two stories up.
2 stories up, like, who is that?
A view from the top, huh?
And you know what's crazy? Please don't lose your train of thought, because I'm learning. But what's crazy is he was, prior to, us doing real estate, Baylor Real Estate, plug. Baylor Real Estate, plug 2. Before that, he was dancing for Coogee Rap. He was dancing for Big Daddy Kane. He had his own singing group, TCF crew. They performed all over the world. Was a regular at Bentley's. Right. And I used to hang out. Like I was, I'm a celebrity hairstylist. So he and I are in the same places. Like when we tell stories, like you was at the LQ when that happened. I was at the LQ. Never ran into each other. Never. I never saw Sean one day of my life throughout this whole experience. And then I go into a church based on the pastor, like, you should come to my church. And I'm like, I'm not going to nobody's church. And he was like, you should come to my church. And I was like, well, it might be a cool church because you getting locks in your hair. You got locks. I might vibe with that kind of church. You know what I'm saying? So I go to the church, and that's how we meet. And he is accurate. Like I didn't know he was trying to get at. I mean, he said little silly things to me, silly, because I have walls. I'm from South Jamaica, Queens. I grew up in Rochdale Village. I got walls higher than Rochdale Village. So a little something that was coming, yeah, whatever. But he became my friend. And I have to say that even if it was a plan, he definitely was my friend. For me, the availability to be transparent, to be honest with you, the availability for me to be corny, because I'm like, that. Especially then, tough as nails, because it's a whole process to exist in my world. And it's survival. I think Terry put on there, if you were brought up in survival mode or brought up in love, you move different. I was survival mode from, as Substance said, 0 to 7 years. I have been in survival mode forever. And so I met someone where I can be corny and talk about Disney, you know what I mean? And feel like that's not going to be used against me.
He created a safe space for you.
He really did.
So important.
And then, oh my gosh. So then we watched this corny movie. And he sat up with me and watched a corny movie. It was About Last Night with Demi Moore. Y'all go check it out if you want to. And I'm like, oh, he watched it with me. So then I'm saying to myself, maybe I'm gonna give him some booty tonight, right? And then in my mind, I'm sitting there saying, he's too perfect. The sex is going to be awful. This is what I'm saying in my head, because it has to be this. How can something be so perfect? Oh, stars, red, white, and blue stripes, fireworks, everything that could happen was amazing. Yes, and yeah, I can shoot any chick out there that think, let me tell you, I carry a 9. Let me just be clear. I'm telling the story. I'm being transparent. Play around. You're going to have problems. Now back. Okay, so amazing. Everything was amazing. I enjoyed.
And then I snored.
And then I woke up to the snore. I was like, found the problem. Had to find something. But that's something I can live with to this day.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But to finish off, as far as like what Darren said, like we came from families that were, my mom and dad was together. You said 65 years, Darren?
Over 63, I think.
63. My father passed, but it was around 55.
My parents 55 too.
Right. So you do what you see. And you do what you see. And I don't know anything else. So I guess when I say my oversoul knew, but when I knew is when I introduced it to my family. And it gelled like it was always existing. And then once that happened, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
And then I told you, tell them what I told you. That's right, tell them.
Oh, she gave me a 5-year plan. And we was in the car. She said, I have a 5-year plan. I want to be, I want to be married and have my first child and my first house by the time I'm 30 and we 25.
Period.
And she said, are you with that? And I said, yeah.
He was in at that moment.
Yeah.
I said,
that expectation, that is beautiful.
She gave me
you were courageous enough to do that.
And she gave me a plan, and she gave me an alternative to answer yes and no. So
and what? I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's lovely because when we talk about love, all too often when we start relationships with people, we don't really have an expectation. Like I knew what I was going to do with or without Stiphanie. That was just in my plan. Actually, when I knew that there were sparks there, and like you said, after she met the litmus test with the family and they were like, okay, she's cool people, then that's where it was like, okay, it's not me, it's we. And, that's where the challenge is. And I would submit that a lot of times in relationships, after a certain finite period of time, it collapses. Like I'm still going to do what I want to do, right, wrong, and different, but I have to have the ability to massage that and make sure that we don't diverge from the path. I want to live a certain way or wanted to do that at that time. I do today. I want to live a certain way 10 years down the way. I want to make sure that we're still in line. So there's the open lines of communication that have to be crystal clear, because you can sometimes compromise, and that's an essential part of love. Compromise, because some people with that highway, my way or highway, they're not in the game anymore. So the ability to intelligently compromise but still not settle is that balance in any relationship that I found that makes us operate and navigate successfully, at least to this point.
I gotta piggyback on that. I have to say to you, Tiffany, that is so courageous. That you spoke your expectation, because that was a vulnerable moment for you, and he could have said no. He could have said, no, I'm not with that. And you, in your strength and your courage, would have been greater than well. You would have been, but thank God he said yes, because that is the love of your life. But I commend you on that. I just had to, really say that it takes courage from both people, men and women, to really set your expectations.
But I feel she saw that from my background. So I mean, I'm not sure if she was afraid to say that. She ain't afraid of anything. But
the thing is, though, with me, and it's I'm as much as I'm Jesus, as much as I'm corporate, as much as I'm business, I am as much as that as I am street. And there's codes to this. If he would have said no, I would have left.
Right.
It wouldn't have been. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely look at how I think the chips are stacked, but you're absolutely right. It could have went that way. And that thing in me would have been like, okay, now when I went home, the pillow would have been wet from crying. Don't get me wrong. But I would have walked away. You would have never saw it because of that thing. Now, at this point, he sees it all because he, number one, did say yes. Number two, he has been there. And again, you know, when you have somebody, you need somebody, I feel, when you're going to make life choices with someone to journey with, they got to be feeling like when you have a baby and you wipe their nasty butt and you comfortable and it don't smell, it ain't this, it ain't that. That's what it got to be in your household with your mate, with your person. They got it. When you throw up, they got to clean it.
Yep.
And it's not nasty to them to help you through the grind and the grime and all those pieces. And that's what, when I shared that with him, that's how I felt about him at that moment. It's not much, like I say, you know, there aren't deal breakers here. This is my family, whatever it might mean to somebody else. I'm telling you, for me, this is my family. We have our children, but they gonna go. I ain't living for them either, because they gonna go. They gonna do their thing. So this is, at the end of the day, we got to have a bedroom on the first floor so we ain't walking up and down steps at 70. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it's about.
We got to do that too.
That's what it's, well, TiffanieRo Real Estate will help you find.
I know, that's right.
Gotta throw that out there. But you know what I'm saying?
In terms of substance and Tiny, you know, listening to you, Tiffany, Tiny has been there for a substance like that. Right. You know, I know Substance story and I know what she's going through and everybody, and I'm like, wow. But Tiny's always right there, you know, whatever she's going through, you know, she's right there. Okay, no, you got to fix this. You're going to do this or whatever, and pushing her through it. There was times like I said, okay, I'm just the number one fan, but it's family, because when she puts, I believe, I'm like, no, this is it. We just gonna keep pushing until we everybody get to the top, and that's what we do on the Sistahship. It's like, okay, just in that moment when you just like, you can't, like we said before, we just push each other to do it. But I also want to say to you all, I'm looking in the chat room, and there's a question for Tony, which says, what will be different for you the next time you get into a relationship? And then Mama C, who's in the chat room, she says that friendship is the first step to building a healthy relationship. Yeah. So I just want to also throw that out there, because there are quite a few people in the chat room, and we have about 15. Well, from YouTube, it looks like there's about 15 people watching. There's a little bit more right now, and everybody's holding steady. So we thank you for supporting the Sistahship. We're just going to continue on and rock on and talk about what love means to everybody. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll answer that really quickly.
What does that look like for you, Tony?
I'll answer that really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
For me, communication.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been learning about myself substance. What I've learned about myself is, as much as a talker I am, and Tiffany, I'm right there with you, girl. My friends will tell you that Tony can talk, but I will learn to communicate a lot better. That's why I was so impressed with what Tiffany said in setting her expectations, mm-hmm. because as much as I talk, a lot of it is in my head. Mm. And I'm a writer, so I'm always saying, you know, you got to get it out of your head and onto the paper. Now I have to remember to get it out of my head and through my mouth with love.
Mm-hmm,
with love. Mm-hmm. But I will be a much better communicator, and sooner, rather than allow things to fester and go on for so long and then explode. That's exactly what I know to do. I know I'll do better. Yep, absolutely.
Amen. Amen. I say y'all say Stefania, I say Stefire, because I think she is like so, first of all, she is such fire. She is such fire. So that's my nickname for you. You didn't know it. It's in my head. I'm doing what Tony said. I'm putting it out because
Queen
it's been sitting here.
Stefania, huh? We got to add that on, Stefania. And it has been Stefania. Because listen, she got me going. You hear me?
I can get down with that.
So being you know, again, you've been together 20 plus years. So I want to take this, and again, going a decade plus behind, things are a little bit more now. There's a lot more understanding. And to both of our guests, being same sex and being interracial, you're an interracial couple. How was that in that foundation work to get you past? Because we have a lot of people that are dealing with that. How did you get past those pieces?
Let me take it first. You know what? My dad went to college in the 50s in North Carolina. Okay? And he married my mother at 19. And coming from Newark, he had never experienced segregation. Now, I lay that as the groundwork because when they had their children, they could have told me everything but what was right with being human. I grew up in the Nation of Islam with people that were uncles that cleaned their act up through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They could have told me everything but what was right. So growing up, you know, when we decided that we were going to have a relationship, bringing her home, it could have been what it could have been, because if they had paradigms that weren't conducive to us being together, I would have had to have made a choice. Thankfully, through the will of the higher power, they had that humanity. So it was like, you know what? Do you. Don't let nobody mess up your situation if that's who you love. So that's number one. So if the family's down, I was down. I didn't care. You know, now next comes friends, because I'm a rattler. I went to Florida A&M University. I went to an HBCU. So my friends, you know, that's what I knew. I went to a prep school and made that transition. My thing was simple. If I had friends that had an objective, they probably really wasn't or weren't my friends.
Right.
So for me, going through that, I can only speak for me, never had reservations. My sister, who is my oldest sister, who thinks she's my second mama, you know, she and her, they were friends. They got off to a rocky start once she knew that I was going to be serious with her. Different issue, but it wasn't a racial thing. It was a little brother thing. So to make a long story short, if your family and your friends don't have a problem with two people being together, regardless of any type of perceived barriers, then it is what it is. So for me, I never had a problem. I perceived it as someone else's problem. In my circle, you got to do you. Now, I do know this going forward. It's not just about paradigms. I got to do me. You know what I'm saying? She's got to do her, and we operate efficiently. I think, you know, when we travel the world, it ain't no issue unless we come here. And to be very honest, we were in Kansas one time. I said, now listen, let's just say we run into some yahoos. This is going to be the story. I'm the gardener, you're the other. And we live. It's about survival. It's called survival. So long story short, we don't have no problem with it. Don't start.
Wait. She said you people laughing. Man, you was comic relief for today's entire show. I want to thank you so much. Southern Tiny, share your situation.
As far as the whole same sex thing, well, we've been talking about survival mode, PTSD, being raised how I was raised, you know, I was in jail in a third world country for some years. So I've been fending for myself for so long that I have the mentality of, You like it, you don't. You ain't got to pop the piston or when to throw it out. It pertains to my life, so I'm gonna do me. So when I got to that point, you know, my sexuality, I really didn't care. What did bother me about it was because I was raised in church growing up. So as an adult, when I came back to the States and trying to navigate adulthood and feeling like I missed out on so much life overseas, and then coming back trying to navigate adulthood and trying to get back into the swing of what's supposed to be right, trying to tap back into my spiritual roots. It wasn't when I tried to fight my sexuality to where I became suicidal. So I tried to kill myself 3 times trying not to be gay. You know, and when I got to
What's up? Nobody knows your story. That's another topic we need to come on with you, because they don't really know that story about you being in jail and everything. I'm surprised you told that today, but we need to do that.
I was right up there with y'all in the Pocono, and tried to kill myself. I tried to walk right into a 18-wheeler. I couldn't take it anymore. You know, religion telling me I'm supposed to do this, and then, you know, what such a prominent godfather in my life and spiritual father in my life, who's, you know, very famous, in my ear telling me what I should do, should not do, and just the pressures, you know, and then still rapping and being true to what I rap about. So in that lifestyle of trying to be super Christian, I wasn't lying. I was very honest through my lyrics. So that, and then being on platforms, because I'm not a hypocrite, going and rapping in churches and mega churches and and then getting off the pulpit, getting off stage, and then being confronted with, because, you know, when you put yourself out there, you become a target. So now you got all these church women like, yo, so you used to be gay, I'm saying, I'm trying to smash, you know what I mean? And then fighting that, like, yo, wait a minute. No, I love you. So that war made me suicidal. And I got to a point where it was like, you know what? Y'all not gonna drive me crazy. There's some reason. One is the reason why I can't die. I just can't commit suicide properly. It ain't working. So I guess I'm supposed to be here.
And the battle between the church and the other side of the world, where you were trying to be that rapper and in between and going in between. At one point it was just straight religion, rap, church, whatever. Okay, this is where I'm fighting and I'm going over here, but I'm in between right here. She also has a song out that she just put out. You want to talk about that song that you just put out? I shared it on the page, but the one that you just
love? Absolutely. I touch on that battle in the song I just put out, Love Who You Love. And you know, I didn't, and then even still in the lifestyle, because you're 0 to 7, like I was raised in the church, hard body, grandmother, bishop, all my uncles, aunts, pastors, like I'm a church girl, period. So that battle and that stronghold of like, no, this is just not right. You know, listen, once I got out of that, and I find even in the lifestyle, I still didn't accept who I was. It took me, I was almost 30 by the time I said, let me loose these shackles and start trying to figure out who am I, why I am. And once, oh my God. Once I said, it didn't really matter. It's not about the sex. It's not about that. That's not even what it is. It's about the comfortableness in my own skin. You know what I mean? I can't help what attracts me. I look at men and I'll be like, oh, he's handsome as hell. I don't want to bone him because I don't like penetration. I don't like the aggressive. I don't like men. You know what I mean? I like soft cuddle. That's just what I like. You know what I mean?
Pink and fluffy.
Right. I just like that. I love that. I don't want to be a man. Absolutely. I love the fact that I'm a female. So it was aspects of me and trying to understand this whole sexuality thing that took work and healing, you know, to get to this comfortable state. And, you know, it's amazing to me. Tiny is probably a very big difference because I was out when we got together. But that's what it is for me. Like, yo, and loving myself first.
And you know what, Tony is sharing about loving yourself, loving, you know, loving me. Right. And what I do see amongst it all, the thread is everyone here, they love themselves. Right. So the healthiness of being together is because 2 healthy people came together, or whatever was needing some healing we found that.
Mhm.
And there's a common thread of being considerate, being transparent, honoring either ourselves, each other, and and across this whole piece, it keeps on going. It
Mhm.
keeps on going. So to me, listening, we have, you know, different relationships, different walks, different reasons, different meeting places. Even if it meant meeting myself at my own table, I fell in love. And it's such a beautiful thing. And again, Valentine's Day, hearts, hearts, hearts to you all,
Yes.
to you all. I know we're ending. I think, oh my God, it is 3:30.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yep.
God.
Fast, right?
It's 12:30 here, ma'am.
Say, it's one of my favorite places to go is LA. I love LA. So I am going to check you the next time I'm out there. Tony, thank you so much for being with us today, Sean.
Thanks for having me.
My king, Sophia and her man. I love you guys. Substance, please check out Substance. Go on her site. Get all the amazing music, and including today we should be sharing love, and Tiny, amazing couple. I'm TiffanieRo. This is TiffanieRo, aka Bling. We are out. It's the Sistahship.
With my sisters, we got this. You roll with me and I roll with you. Substance, sis, hey! No games, help each other get over some things. Real strength bring change, cause we've been through the rain. Now it's time to shine like Bling. Happy Valentine's Day!
Happy Valentine's Day! I love you guys.
Say to everybody, self-love.
That's right.